Have you ever been in the position where you put off a game because you don't have time to play it or any other reason, but when you finally get around to it, you have a great time with it? I'm sure it happens to everyone at some point. Well, this happened to me with Grim Dawn. For some time now I tried playing it, but never really put time in the game, always putting it down after an hour or so of playing. But after I got bored of Diablo 4 and not really wanting to create another seasonal character in it, or any online-only game in this genre, I started again to look for ARPGs to play. And by looking again through my large list of games I have not played yet, Grim Dawn caught my eye again, and I began to look into it for some reason. Well, it caught my eye so bad that I finally finished the base campaign, and I am in progress to finish the expansions, and I have the best time while playing the game. So if you are looking for a new ARPG to play, you should give Grim Dawn a chance, and I'm sure it will surprise you. Overall, Grim Dawn is often recommended for fans of action RPGs who enjoy deep character customization, challenging gameplay, and a dark immersive world. If you appreciate games like Diablo 1 and 2 and Titan Quest, Grim Dawn might be a title worth exploring. The combat at times can feel slower than other games in this genre, especially at the start of the game, but in the later part, after you have more abilities, will feel more complex and tactical than other ARPGs. The major selling point for me about this game is the dual class system of the game, where at level 2 you choose one from 9 masteries, and at level 10 you choose your second, and combine skills from both of them to create your preferred playstyle, leading to 72 different combinations. Builds in Grim Dawn don't fit the typical classes of warrior, rogue, and mage that you see in most other games, while some of the masteries tend to follow them. By combining two, you get something totally different. For example, by choosing the shaman with the inquisitor, I basically created a magic cowboy who dual wields pistols and shoots the entire battlefield with elemental bullets, dealing massive damage to every monster that he comes across. The build variety for this game is insane. Even two players that choose the same two masteries could have two different builds, depending on what skills and items they choose to play with. If you like to make a lot of characters in games, this will be heaven for you. This offers a high level of replayability as players can experiment with different combinations. Adding to this the devotion system that allows players to earn points by cleansing shrines and use them to unlock powerful bonuses and abilities on a constellation grid, adding another layer of customization to character development. The only negative point I have on this is that for some masteries the start can seem kind of slow and boring, at least until you gain a few levels. The dark and atmospheric world of Grim Dawn is perfect, and the game's setting is gritty and grim, fitting well with the overall theme. The environments are well designed, and the game's visual style adds to the immersive experience. While other games in this genre tend to go with randomly generated maps or worlds, the developers of Grim Dawn choose to make a static world design, which allowed them to put as much detail in it as possible, which means that the maps in the game will be the same on every run with each character you create. For some players this may be a negative since random generation allows for some diversity for each run, and since this is a static world after some time the runs begin to feel stale, but for me it was quite the opposite. I like knowing what to expect in an encounter and coming up with ideas on how to approach them. Well, at least for the base game, I did not touch the expansion areas for now. As for all ARPGs, beside the things mentioned earlier, the loot is also one of the most important things in the game. If not for this, everything else in the game would be for nothing. Item stats in Grim Dawn are sufficiently complicated to add depth without being overwhelming. The hunt for loot is more than simply farming randomly generated maps for hours due to the monster infrequent system, through which certain items can only be dropped from certain monsters, often the unique ones. Additionally, the sheer number of unique items means that you will generally always be able to find items for your build. While some specialized builds will be highly gear dependent and may require a significant amount of time spent farming for the right items, most builds will be able to complete all but the hardest challenges in the game with the items you can find in a reasonable amount of time. It is hard to explain how nice this feels, but this is a game and not a service. There is no pressure to play the way the developer wants you to play. You don't need to log in and wait in line just to be able to play. You are not being spoon-fed content every few months to keep you coming back. This game feels like it was developed by a team that loves the game and had the time they needed to create an enjoyable game. I don't believe the folks at Crate Entertainment are suffering trying to optimize the development process to maximize profit with the least amount of development time. It isn't a game trying to convince me of its worth through its scale, polish, or eye candy. So what do you think about Grim Dawn? Please leave a comment with your opinion. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.